For millions of us around the globe, the morning coffee is sacred, the single spark that ignites our day, warms our hands, and prepares our minds for the daily grind. But let's be honest, how often do you take a sip of your morning brew and think, wow, this tastes like a mixture of wet cardboard, dirt, and regret? In a massive blind taste test, professional coffee cuppers sampled dozens of popular supermarket ground coffee brands, and the results were shocking. While some options were absolutely delightful, many tasted as though they had been brewed in mulch, a dirty ashtray, or straight-up hell. The problem is that major commercial coffee brands prioritize shelf stability and profit margins over quality, using cheap beans and roasting them to a crisp to hide their staleness. If you want to save your taste buds, your health, and your money, here are the top 7 coffee brands and specific blends you should absolutely avoid drinking. Brand number 1. Harris Strong. Priced at $11 for a 200-gram packet, Harris Strong is a staple on the shelves of almost every major supermarket. It is marketed as a bold, full-bodied roast, designed for those who need a serious wake-up call in the morning. However, according to our panel of professional taste testers, the only thing this coffee will wake you up to is pure disappointment. During the blind tasting, the experts tried their best to remain professional and objective, to avoid biasing one another. But the moment Harris Strong was served, the room devolved into a non-stop slideshow of face-contorting grimaces, creative swearing, and mutual glances of anxiety. With milk, this coffee scored a miserable 2 out of 10, and drinking it black was not much better, scraping a 2.5 out of 10. The consensus was that it tasted incredibly harsh, bitter, and chemically flat, leaving an unpleasant, burnt timber aftertaste that refused to wash away. The roasting process seems to have completely stripped away any potential sweetness or acidity, leaving behind a carbonized profile that ruins the complexity of the bean. This makes it highly unsuitable for espresso makers or drip machines alike. It is a prime example of a brand roasting its beans to oblivion to mask low-quality crop and long warehouse storage. The resulting cup lacks any oil, aroma, or depth, presenting a flat bitterness that even milk cannot rescue. If you see this familiar bag on the supermarket shelf, save your hard-earned money and keep walking. Brand number 2. Lavazza Espresso Barista Intenso. Lavazza is an absolute giant in the global coffee industry, and their Espresso Barista Intenso is positioned as a premium supermarket offering. Selling at $18.50 for a 250-gram bag, it is designed to replicate the rich, velvety Italian cafe experience in the comfort of your own home. Unfortunately, the premium price tag is a total trap, and the actual experience of drinking it is a far cry from a sun-drenched Italian piazza. This blend scored a shocking 1.5 out of 10 when tasted black, making it one of the absolute lowest-rated coffees in the entire blind test. The expert judges described the flavor profile as an unholy cocktail of ash, dirt, burning rubber, and stale freezer air. It was so intensely unenjoyable that it forced the reviewers to question whether it was actually fit for human consumption. For comparison, a proper barista-style coffee should have floral, fruity, or chocolatey notes, whereas this blend leaves a dry, chemical film in the mouth. When a coffee is this bad, the subtle tasting notes do not matter anymore. It is simply painful to drink. The beans appear oily and over-roasted, which accelerates the staling process, leading to a rancid, heavy cup. For nearly $19, this is a premium price ticket to disappointment, proving that a famous brand name does not guarantee a good cup. Brand number 3. Delta Chico Doro Premium Blend. At number 3 is Delta Chico Doro Premium Blend. This Swiss-style brand is often promoted as a classic European-style roast with a rich heritage and a smooth finish. While it has a small, loyal following who purchase it strictly for its budget-friendly price point, coffee experts urge you to steer clear if you care about the flavor of your morning brew. In the blind taste test, the descriptors used by the professional judges for Chico Doro read like a recipe for backyard compost rather than a beverage. The panel noted that the dry ground coffee smelled heavily of dry grass. The actual taste test was even worse, with notes of ash, cardboard, and wet dirt dominating the cup from start to finish. There was no complexity, sweetness, or pleasant acidity to be found in the brew. In fact, many consumers report that brewing it in a mocha pot only intensifies the cardboard notes, turning a morning cup into a test of endurance. Pre-ground coffee like this often suffers from a severe lack of freshness. By the time the beans are roasted, ground, vacuum sealed, shipped across the ocean, and left to sit on supermarket shelves for months, any pleasant aromatic oils have completely oxidized. This leaves behind a flat, papery bitterness that no amount of milk or sugar can truly save. Brand number 4, Vittoria Coffee Italian Blend. Vittoria is a staple of supermarket aisles and local cafes alike, but their Italian blend pre-ground coffee is one you should definitely cross off your grocery list. It represents the absolute worst aspects of commercial dark roasts that dominate the mass market. During the dark roast portion of the expert blind test, 4 specific coffees in a row created a wave of genuine dread in the cupping room. The judges referred to this stretch of the tasting as a gauntlet of anxiety and torment, and Vittoria Italian Blend was right in the middle of that nightmare run, causing physical distress to the panel. This blend is roasted incredibly dark, but instead of achieving a rich, chocolatey depth, Vittoria's Italian Blend crosses the line into pure charcoal territory. It resulted in immediate, physical grimaces from the panel, who noted that the dominant flavors were burnt wood and bitter carbon. Even when heavily diluted with milk, the bitter charcoal taste dominates, making it nearly impossible to enjoy for anyone who appreciates real coffee flavor. This over-roasting completely masks any natural coffee sweetness or origin character, leaving you with a cup that tastes like liquid charcoal. The oils on the beans have turned rancid from exposure to air, resulting in a heavy, dusty texture that coats the inside of your mouth. It is harsh, aggressive, and highly avoidable. Brand number 5, Daily Saint Dark Roast. Rounding out the supermarket dark roast gauntlet of doom is Cole's specialty house brand, Daily Saint Dark Roast. Named after their roastery location in Preston, Victoria, this brand is heavily marketed as a hip, sustainable, locally roasted alternative to major commercial labels. Unfortunately, the dark roast variety fell completely flat on its face. Along with Harris and Lavazza, it completed the 4 coffee sequence that had professional judges actively complaining and swearing in disbelief. While Daily Saint's medium roasts and capsules have performed reasonably well in other consumer tests, their dark roast ground coffee proved to be incredibly bitter and unbalanced. Instead of the smooth cocoa and toasted nut notes promised on the bag, the experts were met with an overwhelming punch of acrid smoke, burnt rubber, and stale bitterness. This is particularly frustrating because Daily Saint prides itself on local Australian roasting standards, which should theoretically yield a fresher and sweeter flavor profile. It is proof that local packaging, trendy branding, and specialty marketing do not always guarantee a quality cup of coffee. The blend suffers from poor roast consistency, leading to an uneven extraction that highlights all the worst, most astringent elements of the coffee bean. Brand number 6, Folgers Classic Roast. For our 6th brand, we look at a global giant that is infamous among coffee enthusiasts, Folgers Classic Roast. It is cheap, convenient, and sits in massive red plastic tubs in almost every grocery store across North America. It is a staple of millions of households, but it is also one of the worst offenders in terms of flavor and quality. There is a simple reason why Folgers is so cheap. The brand relies heavily on cheap Robusta beans as filler. Robusta beans are much easier and cheaper to grow than Arabica beans, but they contain double the caffeine and taste significantly more bitter, rubbery, and harsh. It has a flat, chemical-like profile that lacks any of the natural sweetness found in Arabica. Furthermore, the lack of single-origin traceability means you have no idea where these beans were harvested or how long they have been sitting in bulk storage. Because Folgers is pre-ground in massive industrial batches and stored in plastic tubs, it begins to oxidize and lose its flavor long before it ever reaches your kitchen. The result is a cup of coffee that tastes stale, metallic, and muddy, with a flat, paper-like finish. The aroma is reminiscent of wet cardboard and dusty shelves rather than fresh coffee. Drinking it black is a genuine chore, and even adding heaps of milk and sugar can barely mask its low-quality, bitter foundation. Brand number 7. Nescafe Blend 43. Finally, at number 7, we have the king of instant coffee convenience, Nescafe Blend 43. It is a staple in offices, construction sites, and pantries worldwide, prized for its ability to dissolve instantly in hot water. But if you care about the quality of what you put in your body, this is one brand you should absolutely avoid. To make instant coffee like Blend 43, manufacturers brew massive industrial vats of coffee and then use extreme heat or freeze-drying processes to extract the water, leaving behind dry granules. Because they use the cheapest, lowest-grade beans available, the natural flavor of the coffee is completely destroyed during the chemical extraction process. It is a purely industrial product. Instead of a rich, satisfying caffeine kick, you are left with a dusty residue that feels thin and metallic on the palate, making it a poor choice for daily consumption. To compensate for the low-quality beans, the coffee is heavily roasted, resulting in a product that tastes like burnt chemicals, charcoal, and dusty dirt. The complete lack of fresh oils means there is zero complexity or sweetness. It is bitter, harsh, and leaves a lingering chemical aftertaste on your tongue that resembles burnt rubber. Convenience is great, but your taste buds deserve much better than this processed dust. What is the worst coffee you have ever tasted? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more honest reviews, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a brew. Thanks for watching, and here's to better mornings.